Namaste everyone. I, Purang Mittal, on behalf of Mokshatan Yoga Sansthan, again welcomes you all to the third session of Day 2 of Global Yoga Conference 2021. For this session, we are honored to have among us Dr. Devketu from USA. So I request our Guruji and Director of Mokshatan Yoga Sansthan, Adaniya Acharya Pratishtha ji, please welcome Dr. Devketu and say a few words.
Namaste. On behalf of Mokshaitan Yoga Sansthan, I am really honored and delighted to welcome Dr. Devketu from USA. It is a matter of immense pleasure for all of us, the entire team of Mokshaitan and Bharat Yoga, to welcome you to this session today. Though Mokshaitan Yoga Sansthan organizes number of events every year to mark the International Day of Yoga, but this year, especially at this crucial time of pandemic, we all have realized the importance of yoga and the importance of right living. And I'm sure our millions of followers worldwide watching these videos are going to get immense benefit from the knowledge which they will gain through this session. And Dr. Devketu is a very, very senior doctor, like medical doctor, and also a yogic expert. So I'm sure our viewers are going to have a wonderful time during this session. And once again, I really thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you, Guruji, for your blissful words. Mr. Dev Ketu, MD, PhD, is head of Dev Yoga USA. His passion for teaching and educating about the ancient practice of yoga spans more than 30 years. As a child in India, he was sent to study in Gurukul from the age of 12 until he graduated with his PhD in Sanskrit at 25. In 1981, Dev Ketuji emigrated to the United States and started teaching yoga in both Connecticut and New York until 1986. Devji then went on to teach various influential leaders over the globe for years to follow. Now I request Shri Dev Ketuji to kindly deliver his session on the topic yoga and happy hormones. Over to you, Dev Ketuji.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. And I remember those old days when Pratishtha was not there, even her mom was not there. And I used to go to Guruji Bharat Bhushanji to his center from Haridwar when I was in Haridwar. And used to appreciate his teachings all the time, physical, mental, emotional. I used to spend not only the daytime, but even staying at Guruji's house. And then I came here to the United States, but his memories are still always with me, no matter where I am. So thank you for inviting me to this session, International Day Yoga. And we really appreciate and we are thankful to our Prime Minister who started it 7 years ago, who no one before has thought about it. And then it was recognized by UNO, and now whole world celebrates. So it's really our pleasure to celebrate together, which is a reminder, which is an excuse to get started today. I mean, on even International Yoga Day, let's get on to our health. Let's get fit. Let's get fit not only physically, but let's get fit mentally, emotionally, and on top of that is spiritually. When we practice any type of exercise, the big difference between yoga practice and any other type of exercises, which is very important, no matter what type of physical activities you do or any type of exercise you do, those are really important for your physical health, mental being, well-being, and also the emotional well being. But when you practice yoga, you achieve definitely the physical strength, physical fitness, mental, emotional, and again, which no other exercise can give you, the spiritual fitness. If we are not spiritual, then we are not complete. That means we are not going to be happy. You can be fit, but not necessarily be happy. So, ultimate aim, why we want to do anything in our life, we are trying to achieve, we are trying to make an efforts to be happy. That's our ultimate aim. When we go and, after you have a basic things in your life, when we have a food to eat, when we have shelter, the roof to cover, and third, when we have a basic thing, which is the clothes. When we have all these three things and we are comfortably living, but we still are trying to do something better. We're still trying to buy a big house. We're still trying to buy a nice car. We're still trying to have a big bank balance. We still want to travel. What is that all about? Why? It's a good question. Why we want to have what we already have or what we don't have yet? So that means there's something that is making us happy. So no matter what we do, the ultimate aim is to be happy. And what is that happiness? There are two types of happinesses. One is temporary, and second is permanent. So when it's temporary, what does it mean temporary? Temporary happiness means you want to buy something, you want to have a nice car, and you buy it, you enjoy it. But are you happy after buying a nice car? After few days, after a few months, you get used of it, and then you get fed of it. You get tired of it. Then you start thinking something else. Same thing about our house. Same thing about anything we want to buy, we want to get in our life. We want to have I mean, 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 1 million, 2 million rupees or dollars in your bank account. Are you satisfied? Are you happy? If that was the case, every single millionaire or billionaire should be feeling happy, but not necessarily everybody is happy. So happiness is something beyond that, which is the temporary happiness. We want to achieve the happiness which is the permanent. Permanent happiness comes where? It comes when you are content, when you are fully feeling that you have everything in your life. And where does that come from? What happens in your brain? Let me come to the medical point of the happiness. What happens in our brain whenever we feel sad, whenever we feel happy? That means there's some chemical changing in our brain. When those chemical takes place, they are more or they are less, that's when we feel happy, and that's when we feel sad. When Let me first give the names of those. There are four main happy hormones. We call those happy hormones. There are so many hormones in our body. We have a thyroid hormone, which contributes in our metabolism. We have sex hormones, which contributes to define us between male and female. And then we have so many other hormones, but they're happy hormones, so neurotransmitters, we call them, One of them is called dopamine. Second is called serotonin. Third is called endorphins. And the last one is called oxytocin. When when we have a nice food, the food you love, some people love, you know, some sweets. They like in India nowadays, the kids love chocolate. And when I was growing up in India, I did not know what chocolate was at that time. So the only best sweet dish we knew is halwa. And we used to be so happy the day we were provided halwa by our mom on special occasions. And we used to look forward, oh, we're going to have a halwa. Or even sometime on Diwali or on any Holi or Dashera, my mom used to make a nice peda. And we used to eat not only within a day, but we used to given like a one or two a day, and that would last for a few days and weeks. And we used to look forward. But why we feel happy when we eat? What happens in our brain? What happens? Some people love to shop, and they even are addicted to shop. You don't need the clothes. You have enough of in your closet, but you still like to go and buy. And you ask, why are you buying? And they answer, oh, it feels so good when I go for shopping. And even some people go just for window shopping. Let's take any song or bhajan. What happens? Why do you play songs? Why do you listen to any music? Because it feels good. And what is that chemical which is contributing in your brain that is making you feel good? And that is called dopamine. People who are deficient in dopamine, they get different diseases. Forget about happiness. They feel, physically, they become unfit. So that is the one of the happy hormone in our brain takes place when we feel happy, when we call vishay in Sanskrit, and then we have indriya. We have a 5 gyanendriya, the sense organs. When they get satisfaction, when they achieve the subject, that's when dopamine gets secreted, and that's what makes you happy. So second hormone is called endorphin. So endorphin is also, there are so many endorphins that take place in your brain, the different chemicals. When sometime, I wish it does not happen to anyone, but when they're in pain and they are hospitalized and they're so much in pain that it becomes unbearable. So what happens? So doctors prescribes morphine. So morphine is the chemical which we give externally, which feels your pain less, or you don't even feel pains. So if you are pain-free, that means you're happy. That's what we wish. The older we get, more pain we have. So how to eliminate? You cannot always get medications to become painless. How do we increase that endorphin in our brain so we don't feel pain? So we'll come back to that, how we can do that. Now, the third hormone is called serotonin. And serotonin is very, very important, which is very well connected to our dharma, our Hindu philosophy, our Indian culture philosophy. And a lot of people practicalize it. It's not only the theory, but they make it practical. Serotonin is secreted in your brain when you help others. When we say karma, I want to do some good karmas. What are those good karmas? When you are doing anything for others without any condition, you forget about your selfishness. When Guruji, our Guruji, is preaching and he's not expecting anything back, what does that mean? He's trying to help others. Even if you can help one person in your life, even you can make one person life happy, healthy, that means you got plenty of serotonin secreted in your mind, in your brain. So that's why in Sanskrit it is called paropkaraya satam vibhutayah. That means the who are sant, who are mahatma, who are great souls, their life is not for themselves. Their life, their actions, their karmas are for others. Even though you are not getting back anything, when you give dan, you open your hand. And when you receive, you close your hand. But the satam, who are sant, who are great souls, their hands are always open. Their life is always open. Their mind is always open. There are three different types of karmas we have in our life. One type of, we wouldn't say karma, but we will say kukarma. And there are lots of people you can see around, and you can see always in news. They're so greedy. They're very selfish. They don't care for others. Only thing they care is for themselves. Only thing they want is to have their big balance and suck others' blood, take other people's money. There are so many people like that. And that's how they put other people in pain. You think they are getting serotonin? Of course not. They will never be happy. The people who harm others to benefit themselves can never be happy. They think, but they are misguided. They have illusion that if you take other people's wealth, other people's health, other people's properties, that will make them happy. Of course not. They will be all the time in fear. And the fear and happiness, they don't go together ever. And why would they get fear? That fear and insecurity, whenever we have a fear, that means we are insecure. You know, when we try to hide something, why do we hide something from others? Because we are feeling some fear that if someone will get to know what I'm trying to hide, then it will harm me back. So that's why in Veda, there's one mantra we pray to God, that abhayam naktam abhayam divanah sarva asha mama mitram bhavantu. Abhayam jata abhayam parokshat. So God, make me fear-free. The people who I know, make me fear-free. The people who I don't know, make me fear-free from the future. Make me fear-free from the past. So that's how day and night I can be fear-free. All the dishas, all the directions, east, west, north, south, should be fear-free. Why? Because we will feel secure. Why? Because then we'll be happy. So that's how serotonin gets secreted. You become fear free. When we have anxiety, why we have anxiety, why we have a depression, why we get angry, because we don't get to live in present. Every moment we are spending at this time becomes the past. Every moment we are spending or doing any action was in future. So there's no such a thing called future. There's no such a thing as past. When we live in future, we always get anxious. We get worried. When we think about past, we get angry. We get frustrated. Why it did not happen to me? Oh, something's going to happen tomorrow. I'm not sure what will happen tomorrow. Who knows what will happen tomorrow? We don't know. You don't know. No one knows about tomorrow. What we know is only what we have now. And whatever you do right now is going to be your present. And nothing is in future. We don't even know when we are going to wake up tomorrow morning or not. There are millions of peoples. They don't know, but they don't wake up next day. They don't see the sun. We are lucky to see the sun. So the best we can do right now to be happy, to help others. And the last one is called oxytocin. Oxytocin gets secreted. There's one word for oxytocin is called love. It's a love hormone. When a mother has a baby or does not have a baby, so what happens? The moment the mother, a lady or female becomes a mother, gives a birth to a child, her life changes. She gets so much of oxytocin secreted that she cannot leave her baby away from her. She always wants to touch her baby to her chest. Why is that? Why her life changed all of a sudden within a few minutes? Because at the time, lots of oxytocin gets secreted. When you hug someone, when you are spending time with your family, what's the reason you like to be with certain friends? Why do you like to hug some people very much? Because you have oxytocin secreted. There's one a great soul, I think Amma, I believe her name, and only thing she does, she hugs people. And when she hugs, she feels so, not only her, the person who hugs feels so good. What is that feel so good when you hug someone? Because you get so much of oxytocin secreted. When you get married, you go on honeymoon and you have a great time. Why is that you feel so good? Because you have a love hormone thousands of times more secreted. So these are 4 very important hormones part of our life. When we get these hormones secreted, for some people, there's some hormones are very temporary. Some of them could be permanent. Let's suppose you have a serotonin. It could be permanent if you keep on helping others. Same thing, oxytocin. If you have a love inside, that's how it will be getting secreted. Some people even feel the love. If you ask, do you know what love is? They don't know. When you're young, when you meet someone, your girlfriend or boyfriend, do you feel that your heart is pumping, your heart races, your whole body gets warmed, and you like to meet your best friend? What happens? That's the love hormone is being secreted. And some people don't even have those feelings. You are lucky to have. When you ask such a people, or do you know if your what your love is, or what heart when heart pumps it, or say, yeah, I know when I run, I can feel my heart is pumping more. So that is not the love hormone. So always be lucky, be loving, and helping others. So that's the one of the hormone you would like to have a secreted by practicing yoga, so you can have a love coming out of you. Because when you practice yoga, all these hormones naturally get secreted. When you start meditating and you turn your all the senses introvert, that's when you have a dopamine secreted. That's when you have a oxytocin secreted. That's when you have a serotonin secreted. That's when you have endorphin secreted. I remember when I was studying in Gurukul, there was one Swamiji, Swami Atmanandji. He had to get a surgery performed. So whenever you perform a major surgery, you have to be completely knocked down. You have to be anesthesia infused. So you can be completely unconscious, and then they can perform the surgery. But Swamiji, he was very much practicing yoga and meditating. And he asked to perform the surgery without anesthesia. So what does that means? He had achieved a lot of endorphins secreted. So that's because you don't feel pain. When you exercise, even if you regular exercise, you have a lot of endorphins secreted. But yoga plays a big role in these happy hormones. So usually people who practice yoga regularly, you can see even our Guruji, Abad Bhushanji, their face glows. You can see the vibes, you can see the aura coming out of the body. You can feel the love coming out of their face, out of their body. You can see the vibrations that you want to be with those loving people. Why you want to be with your mom? Because she only thing she can give you is love. There's no hate. I mean, when a lady's mom is completely different with their son, with their children, as compared to anything else, anyone else, because they got so much of oxytocin for their children. So let's make this International Yoga Day very practical. Let's have all these 4 different hormones secreted by practicing every day some type of yoga. You don't have to do everything every single day, but sometimes you practice more postures, less pranayam, and less meditation. Some days you do more pranayam than your physical postures, and sometimes you want to do more meditation. Even though meditation you can do every single morning or every single evening before going to bed and after getting up, so you don't have to spare separate time. But definitely at least 5 times or 6 times a week, we must practice yoga and all other type of exercises as well. Sometime if yoga is done in not proper way, we may not get all different benefits. Our aim always should be, whenever we practice physical postures, that we get enough of strengthening, we get enough of cardiovascular, and third is, of course, which is main objective of yoga, it's stretching. But stretching is not enough. Only stretching is not enough. You must include your cardiovascular, where your heart rate goes up for 20 minutes over, depending your age, over 140, 150, and just bring it slightly down and bring it up for 20 minutes. So that's how you get your cardiovascular. And absolutely, as we get older, our density of bones goes down, our muscles mass goes down. So we must continue our strengthening exercises, our strengthening yoga postures. We should use our body weight to strengthen our muscles. So that's my message for today, for International Yoga Day. And I really appreciate Pratishta inviting me on your group, and for Mokshayatan. And I thank you very much, our Guruji, Bharat Bhushanji. And see you again.
Thank you so much. I'm really delighted. And on behalf of the entire Bharat Yoga and Mokshaitan family, I feel this was an enlightening session with so many new things, not only to understand, but so many things to take home back. And I'm sure, because generally this is unfortunate that I, belonging to a family of yogis, I have seen the journey of yoga becoming yoga and pranayam, yoga and meditation. So this session has given a uh, very much clarity to all of our listeners on how yoga works on not only just body, but on different aspects of your life, whether it is because it touches all the levels of human life, whether we talk about physical level, mental level, social level, emotional level, intellectual level, financial level, and even spiritual level. So I'm really, really thankful to you for such a wonderful session. And I'm sure because Gurudev was very, very excited to hear you, and I'm sure he must be listening to you. I'll also share the video with him. Once again, I'm really thankful to you, and we are honored to have you. Thank you so much.
Right. Thank you.
So thank you, Guruji, Devketuji. We are really blessed for witnessing such a wonderful session by you. And I'm sure all the viewers must be having the same thought that I'm having right now. I also want to thank our Guruji, Acharya Pratishthaji, for her support to organize the Global Yoga Conference 2021. I also want to thank all the viewers for joining us today, and I request them to please join us tomorrow for the day 3 of Global Yoga Conference 2021, sharp at 5 p.m. IST. Thank you so much. Be happy and be with you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Oops.